What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Dave, and yeah, I just wanna, check up on you guys. And in this video, I just wanna talk a little bit about my paddling journey. Just reflecting a little bit. And I went out a couple days ago. It was blowing. We had like 20-kilometer-an-hour winds, and I paddled out towards Jericho, and had a really good time surfing back. It was a lot of fun. And right here, I'm going upwind. It's never fun going upwind, but that's where you you get better, right, with your balance, and you learn that you always want to go into the waves. Um, well, I guess the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to share with you my journey, right? Like paddling. I've been paddling for over 10 years now. Started with dragon boating. Well, I won't say recreationally. Like the first team I got into, went straight to the Comp A division, and it was a lot of fun, right? I didn't realize how much I love the sport, but one thing led to another. Um, when you're in a comp team, you kind of have to get on the OC1, and that's when I was introduced to solo paddling. However, dragon boating was still my primary. Um, it was still my primary focus at the time, and we did really well, right? We went all the way to um, the World Championships, Club Cruise, and we did very well. And it's been a blast, right? But ever since then, a lot of my teammates, they've kind of stopped. In fact, I'd say all of my teammates have stopped paddling, with the exception of my coach at the time. It's it was a really good time, right? And it's a little bit unfortunate too, because we spend so much time trying to so much time and effort honing our skills, and um, paddling is something which you got to do consistently. Otherwise, you just lose it, and you just can't go back into it, right? Because once you start paddling, especially at a high level, even for 2 weeks, you really kind of feel it, right? But a lot of my teammates, of course, life catches up. I started at babies, gotta make some money. Um, Life catches up, but I still want paddling to be a big part of my life, simply because it's fun. From dragon boating, right, the next step was to learn how. I really wanted to learn how to surf, and how to be comfortable in rough water, right, learn how to read the waves, and just have a really good time, right? It's having a connection with the ocean, figuring out its rhythm and moving with it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm still very new at this, right? I consider myself still a newbie on the surf. I'm still learning a lot of things, figuring things out. But that's what it's all about, right? It's just making all these changes. Paddling, is all about being flexible, mentally, physically, emotionally flexible, to make changes in order to be more efficient, to feel more connected with the water, and to move more effortlessly, and to have more rhythm, balance, stability. And that's how you have fun on the water, right? If you don't have these aspects, right, paddling can be quite, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be quite dangerous, especially out in the surf by yourself in rough water. Ooh, I caught a nice wave here. So if you see, I'm just trying to stay behind the wave and letting it pull my boat forward. I never want to go faster than the wave, because once you go faster than the speed of the wave, then you're just gonna plow, and you're gonna hit the wave in front. You're gonna lose speed, and you just kind of get stuck there, right? But on to what paddling has given me, um, and what it's taught me is it's taught me how to make changes. And sometimes making changes is a very, very difficult thing. Uh, if you're watching this, you probably have been coached by me um, in dragon boating or maybe outrigger. And you know, if you've only known me recently over the last 2 3 years, you probably uh, consider myself very physically above average in terms of my conditioning and stuff. But I just want to let you know, it was never this way, right? I was starting paddling, I was always I was a heavy kid, um, I've always kind of struggled with my weight. I've always been a big boy. In fact, I consider I was definitely an obese child, and it was tough. But fortunately, I kind of found my sport, something that I want to get better at, and it's this mindset, right? Now we're off in the off season. uh, it's really important that we try and um, keep in check our eating habits, our physical activity, or lack thereof, right? And I just want to share with you my mindset, right? Is that a lot of what I do, watching what I eat, stretching daily, sleeping well, skipping rope, doing my push-ups, pull-ups, is simply so that I can do this right here, right? So I can surf in my boat, right? So I can go out by myself. I have the confidence that, okay, worst case scenario, I fall in, right? Water's choppy, but I know that I can get back in because I know that I'm a decent swimmer. And although I'm not wearing my life jacket here, which I probably should, but I have a leash on my leg, so even when I do fall in, my boat doesn't go flying away. I know that I can get back onto. I know that I'm physically strong enough to get back onto the boat. Right? I have the skill, and I know that I can paddle um, without cramping up for at least, if my life depended on it, at least 2 3 hours, right? If my life really depended on it, I'm confident that I can paddle 4 hours straight, right? But comfortably, I think my limit, if I feel like it, 2 hours nonstop, right? I'll be spent. I won't have a good time, but I know that I can go 2 hours straight if I need to, right? And my sessions are usually just an hour long, so of course I'm taking certain risks, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm willing to. For me, it's being able to surf on the OC is what I want to do, and in order to accomplish that, right, I had to watch what I eat, right? I had to get lighter, I had to get stronger, I had to be more flexible so I don't cramp up. And that's my motivation, right? Like, we all know what we have to do in order to get in shape, right? You just gotta watch what we have to eat, we have to exercise more. However, um, wanting to do these things is the tricky part, because they don't tend to be much fun, right? Like, it's very, and then if you don't have a um, how should I say, an objective as to why you want to stay in shape, it's very hard to maintain that motivation, to keep doing and committing to these good habits, right? If your workouts are all just with pain, and you equate your pain and suffering to progress, that really sucks. It's not, it's for me at least, it was not sustainable. However, if you're willing to eat right, to stretch, to exercise in order to have more fun, like what I'm doing here, surfing in, you know, um, in open water, it's completely worthwhile. And it's my bigger picture is to do these things, right? To do complex movements in rhythm with balance, feeling connected to the water. It's just a lot of fun, right? So when that happens, I don't really need motivation to get up and stretch, to stay away from foods that I should not be eating. It motivates me to exercise to get stronger, so I can push for the next wave, right? So I have the strength to go upwind, so that I have the flexibility to have a wider range of motion, right? I skip rope so that I don't have to figure out my coordination while I'm paddling. It's just in my muscle memory, right? That's why I skip rope, is to improve my coordination, my full body coordination. Of course, also to stay in shape in the winter time, right? I don't like going out paddling when it's 3 degrees and it's raining and dark. I'm not that crazy. Um, but I do all these things because I want to be underwater, because I want to be able to surf, and I find it a lot of fun, right? And it takes patience. It takes patience, commitment, dedication, right? Paddling is all about patience. So, oh, I got a nice wave right here. Just following it, looking around, trying to find the next wave, jump on it. Okay, now I'm pushing. I'm on another wave. It's a ton of fun, right? So, um, guys, right? I hope you're all keeping well. We've got a couple more months of winter before a new season starts, but these are things that you can do for the rest of your life, right? I think the most important thing is to stretch daily in the mornings. Stretching is so overlooked, and the amount of benefit you get from it totally, you almost have to do it, right? Because when you start stretching, you are physically, it doesn't take too much. Physically we're all able to stretch, right? But what it really does is to give you that mental and emotional motivation to want to do more tedious and strenuous exercises. And by stretching daily, you're also figuring out your limits, right? Knowing what your range of motion is. And that's just so important, right? You really, really need that. And just kind of staying away from bad foods, bad eating habits, right? The holiday season is coming. I'm not saying to completely abstain yourself, but try and just be mindful of what you put in your body. Get lots of sleep. Uh, Skip rope if you can. Keep moving. Do push-ups. If you can't do full push-ups, just start from the knees. Everyone's got to start somewhere, right? You got to start small. What's important is that you have that mental and emotional desire to want to get better at paddling, or get better at moving, feeling better while your body's under load and physical stress. And that's what it's all about, right? That's why I keep paddling, because it's fun, it feels good, it keeps me in shape, keeps me in check. It's a good guide, a good template of what I want to do and how I want to live my life. Um, and that's what paddling's done for me, and I just want to share that with you, right? It's a lot of fun. It's this is yours in the making, right? open water paddling can be very intimidating. I know I was scared as hell. First time I did some rough water, uh, big water racing. I think my first one was in Bellingham many years ago, and I was just scared to death, right? But sometimes you just gotta do it. The more you know, the more skilled you become, the less you fear, right? And I think for anyone who's thinking about doing any kind of big water surfing, big water paddling, is that you gotta know how to brace the boat, you gotta know how to fly the armor, and of course you gotta be in decent shape, right? And yeah, that's my paddling story, and why I'm still paddling, simply because it's fun. Um, Done a lot in dragon boating, and I love dragon boating too. I love the competition. It's a lot of fun. It always has a special part in me. But I've kind of moved on to just solo paddling, just having fun. Not too worried about competing anymore. But I really do enjoy coaching and helping people. I guess guiding people who want to win and show them how to do it in the you know in the most sustainable and effective way possible. You cannot cut corners. Right? That's another thing I've learned from paddling is that there are no shortcuts, right? You make shortcuts, you start to develop bad habits, and then you just kind of waste your time, and you just don't see any progress, right? If you don't have a good catch, if you're impatient, if you lack, um, you know, if paddling is not an easy sport. It's quite difficult, quite complex. I mean, I spent 10 years paddling, and I still don't think have it completely figured out. But the nice thing is that the body changes, right? I'm 36 years old. I'm definitely in the tail end of my physical prime. And if I want to still paddle at a high level, I've got to make changes, where I cannot always rely on brute strength and just kind of goon it out. My body will give out, and then injuries happen, and paddling is something that is not worth getting injured for, right? Which is also another reason why I want to stay in shape, right? I forgot to mention it's so important is to prevent injuries, right? If I'm out here, I start to cramp up in the middle of English Bay, it will suck. It will suck, right? It's happened to me before. I've been stranded out in the ocean. It wasn't my fault. Freaking FCRCC surf riggers, the club boats, started leaking water, and I got freaking stranded out there. And thankfully, it was a nice day, and a boat just towed me back in towards shore. But after that, that's why I bought my own OC1, right? I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go out there, do some big water surfing, you need proper equipment, and unfortunately the club boats don't quite cut it. I would not, I should have mentioned this, right? I would not do downwind outrigger. I wouldn't go, surf in club boats, simply because I just don't. The club boats are not really meant for surfing, for big water paddling. It's meant for flat water paddling in the creek, right? Which is important. You gotta know how to paddle in flat water. But then after that, you kind of. I guess I made the jump. I made the commitment to take it to the next level, and I bought this OC1 off my good friend Uncle Bob, and never looked back. It's probably one of the best investments I ever made for myself, because now I can go do this anytime I want, it's a lot of fun, right? So um, I, I wish to share this with you guys and just stay fit, stay healthy, because it's a lot of fun, you know. Um, Trying to improve your movements, improve your eating habits, move better, move with more rhythm, more connection, and look forward to a fun season next year. The off season is where you want to put in the work, and for me, when I started paddling, I always tried to paddle to kind of lose weight, you know. So I would paddle. I would tell myself, okay, I paddle like 3 times a week for an hour or so, and therefore I felt entitled to eat whatever the hell I want, and I wasn't really getting anywhere in terms of losing weight and getting in better shape. But my mindset, everything changed when I decided to get in shape in order to paddle, right? So that's the main difference. In the past, I used to paddle to get in shape. Didn't work, but now I get in shape to paddle. And if there's a theme that I want you to try and that I want to try pass on to you guys is that try and get in shape in order to paddle, and then that's where the magic starts, right? Mentally, that's the focus. That's my focus actually. Do things to strengthen my body in order to paddle better, right? As opposed to paddle so I can do whatever the heck I want, right? So yeah. Anyway, hey, that's the famous barge can which floated towards that's stranded, that's beached out. You can see it over there. Okay, anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. I hope you guys are keeping well, stay safe, and hope to see you guys soon. Alright, take care, bye.